Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back. We're going to continue our lesson on White Line Wait. We're going to finish up on the solo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to show you how to play the solo, all the mechanics behind it, all the notes, and then I'm going to go back and explain the music theory behind it. So if you want to know how the solo works in the context of the chord progression, or what key is in, and the theories behind it, stick around. After I teach the solo, I'm going to go over the theory part of it. So that way it will make sense to you. Say, why are you playing certain things certain way in this song in this way? But obviously the best thing to do is listen with your ear, to pick out the notes with your ear compared to the chords behind it. But with that being said, it's also helpful to learn theory-wise and how to play those solo, and how to put the solo in the context of the chord progression, and how to use the different modes and scales. So let's get right to it. Okay, so the chords behind the solo is A 7th, and D major and D minor. So you got basically you got it's kind of like the intro, kind of like that. So A7, D major, and a D minor. It's kind of like a walk, kind of like that. You got to hear on the D string. You got the 4, 3, and 2. It's got the D minor. Got a little walk down. It's pretty cool. So A7. D minor. This one thing I want to talk about tapping is that when you have to practice your tapping. The more you practice tapping, the better it sounds, because you start to develop dead skin on your finger. I tap with my index, my middle finger on this song, and sometimes I use my ring finger. Now I don't tap all the time, so when I do a solo like that, I have to develop my dead skin again if I don't use it in a while. Because without that, the calluses on your finger, it does not sound right. It does not sound good, and also it's painful for your hand too. So before you attempt a solo like this, a lot of sliding and bending with your tapping finger. I would practice first. Pick one string, just tap it. Just try different things with your hand until you feel comfortable with bending with your tapping finger and sliding to make it sound good. If you don't have the calluses on your hand, when you slide, it's going to hurt. It's not going to sound right. So again, it's very important. So that's the reason why when you hear people who sound really, you think it sound better than you, have better tone, one of the secret is that they develop calluses on their hand. The more skin, the dead skin you have, the better it sounds when your fingers interacting with your strings and your fingerboard. All right. So another thing about tapping is that when I tap, my left hand and right hand is constantly always muting the strings behind this note I'm playing, so deaden the sound. So if I'm tapping on the G string, I'm constantly using the bottom of my palm on my left hand, on my right hand, block the top 3 string. And at the same time, I use the flash or my index finger at the bottom, and that's also the rest of my finger, also kind of blocking the strings below the G string. So I'm blocking the B string and the E string with my index finger, kind of slightly touching those strings so you can't hear those notes. So all you hear is a G string, right? So that's the second important thing. So get your calluses on your hand, practice tapping until you feel comfortable with it, and also learn to mute your strings when you tap to cut out all the funny noises. All right, so here's the first lick. Okay, so what I'm doing here, second fret on the G string, and then you pick the, after you pick the second fret on the G string, you tap on the 14th fret on the G string. Basically, it's also A note octave higher. And you can bend the 14th fret up, full step. Basically, bend from 14 to 16, back to 14. But when you bend it, use both fingers. You know, while you bend it with your tapping hand. Also, use your index, use your finger on the second fret to help bend that string up. That will relieve the pressure of your hand from spending too much strength for bringing that note. So again, now once you release back down, you use your tapping finger slap the 21st fret. Now once you slap, you gotta vibrate it. I'll give it a vibrato. Now once you do that, you pull out the open G string, and you hammer on 6, 7, 9 with your left hand. Okay, so far with this. Once you play the 9th fret, you'll tap on the 14th fret again and pull off a 9th fret and 7th fret on the left hand. So that part right there. So again, tap on 14th fret, release, pull off the 9th and 7th fret. After you do that, now I will use my 12th fret to bend up my string on the G string. Full step, basically 12 from 14. Alright, now once you bend it up, instead of my pinky on the 9th fret, I'm using my ring finger on the 9th fret already on the G string. So again, slowly for you, I'm showing you what I'm talking about. You see how I changed my finger from pinky to my ring finger on the left hand? Alright, so that part right there. Now once you do that, while your string is bending up, hold it up like that. You play the 19th fret on the G string, and then you release down while you tap it, and then release and then tap, pull off to 9th fret, and pull off 7th fret, and then hammer on the 9th fret again. And you bend up half step up and release, bend up half step again. Alright, so that last part again, I'm going to show you again. Alright. Alright, so there's a lot of things happening here. So let me do it one more time slowly. And once you bend up half step again the second time, tap on the 13th fret on the G string, pull off 9th fret, release, pull off the 7th fret, hammer on the 10th fret with your pinky. That's the reason why we have to. That's the reason why we have to use the ring finger on the 9th fret position, change finger, because we need our pinky to hit on the 10th fret. So once you hit hammer back on the 10th fret, you'll pick the 12th fret. And tap on the 12th fret, pull off the 7th fret. Now the next part, there's two ways you can do it. You can pluck the string on the G string with your middle finger on the right hand, and slide down the 6th fret, and then hammer on the 7th fret on the D string. So that's the way. You don't tap the 7th fret on the G string. You basically kind of put your finger right below the G string, kind of like a hook up slightly upward. So you're not tapping it. You just kind of like a picking it. But instead of picking it with your pick, you just kind of use your finger, kind of tease the string up like that. If you don't want to do it that way, you can just pick it Pick the 7th fret, slide down the 6th fret, and then play the 7th fret on the D string. Alright, so that's the whole lick. Again, all the notes are on the G string. It's a lot of bending, tapping, pull off, and hammer on. Alright, so let me do it slowly from you one more time from the top. One more time. Okay, so that's the first lick. That's the half the battle of the whole solo. That one first phrase is so important and it's so cool, and it's a lot of work. But once you get that part down, you can move on to the next part. It's not easy, but we're gonna keep going. All right, the next part, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the 10th fret on the B string, bend up full step from 10 to 12, back to down to 10, and I'm gonna do a harmonic tap on a 22nd fret of your B string, so you can basically do an octave on that. If you put your 10th fret, if you put your finger on the 10th fret on the B string, if you tap on the 22nd fret right where the Y is, tap it hard and release it. Tap and quick release, you'll get a harmonic sound to it. That's what we want. So that's all it is. Alright. Now next part, you move up to 14th fret on the B string. Again, this time we're working on the B string a lot. Alright, so you play the 14th fret on the B string, half step this time. So basically bend from 14 to 15th fret. So you bend up half step, release, and bend up half step again. Now while you're holding your 14th fret up, half step up, you will tap the 21st fret, pull off the 14, and then and the 18th fret, pull off. Again, the whole time you have to keep your string bent up half step from the 14th fret. All right, 18, 20. 16, and then release back down, and then you will after you release down, and then you pull off 12 and hammer on back to 14, pull off a 12 again, and slide down to 10th fret. So the whole lick slowly goes like this. Okay, the next lick goes like this. Once you slide down to 10th fret on the B string, you have to slide back down to 12th fret again. Slide back up. So what I'm doing is I'll move back up to 12th fret. Actually, I'm sorry. You pick on the 15th fret first. Tap 15th fret, pull off 12th fret, hammer on the 14th fret, and then bend up slightly, half step, and release back down to 14th fret, and then tap on the 15th fret again, pull off in 12th fret, and slide down to 8th fret. Next part, you do the same thing again, but you stop right there. You don't go any further after that part. So let me play the whole thing for you slowly right here. Next part. So what I'm doing is I'll play the a lot of tapping again. So I'll tap on the 9th fret on the A string, pull off, hammer on the 5th fret. And tap the 9th fret again, hammer, pull off on 5th fret again. Next part, you hammer on the 12th, tap on the 12th fret with your middle finger. And then your left hand will tap, will hammer on the 7th fret on the D string. So you can tell the same note. So you're basically switching from one string to another with that technique. Kind of move down without picking the notes. You're just tapping it. So. And then after you play the 7th fret on the D string, you tap on the 12th fret and you pull off on the 7th fret on the D string. Next part. Next part you play on the G string, tap on the 12th fret, pull off on the 7th fret, hammer on the 9th fret, and you whack it really hard on the 14th fret on the G string. Get the harmonic going. Now when you tap it hard, release it, make sure you take the wire right between the 14th and 5th fret. Basically right here. The wire between 14th and 15th fret. Alright, so let's break it down. So what I'll do is I'll tap on the 15th fret on the B string, pull off on 8th fret, hammer on the 10th fret. You do that twice. Now once you land on the 10th fret on the B string, you stay right there with your left hand on that fret, and then you tap 17th fret, pull off on 10, 15th fret, tap and pull off on 10, 14th fret, pull off on 10, like that. And you slide up with your hand. And the next part goes, there's two ways to play this. I'm going to show you how to pick it. In a second, I'm going to do it like a chicken picking style, okay? So you play the 15th fret and 14 on the B string, 16 and 14 on the G string. Do that 4 times. Next pattern is 17, 14 on the B. Stay on the remaining 16 and 14 on the G string. 4 times. The next part you will do like a D arpeggio, you cross string. 17 on the E, 15 on the B, and 14 on the G. The way I do it, I'm gonna pick it inside. I go down. I pick down on the 17th fret first on the B string, on the E string, upward on the 15th fret on the B, and down 14 on the G. So you do that 3 times. Actually, I'm sorry, 4 times. And they play 21st fret on the E string, high E string, bend up half step, release back down. And that's your solo. Alright, so the last part again. Now, if you're not very good at picking, you can play the 15th fret on the B string, pull off on 14th fret, and then you pick 16 and 14 on the G string. So you go like this. I use that a lot actually. And then you play this 17th fret on the B string, pull off on the 14th fret, and you pick 16 and 14th fret on the G string. You know, call it cheating or whatever you want, but you know, that's easy for me to play, and I think it sounds pretty cool. You don't have to pick every single note, okay? So that's how I do it. Usually I don't pick on the notes. So that's the second way to play it. So that's the whole solo. So let me run through the whole thing slowly from top to bottom of the solo, and then I'm going to talk through the theory part. Alright, so let's talk about the theories behind the solo. So what we have here mainly is based on three things. You got the A major, D minor, and the D major chord. Okay, so if you play in the context of D major, but you start from the A note, it's basically playing the A Mixolydian mode. It's just a fancy word saying this stuff from the fifth note of the D major scale. Okay. Also, you can also play a D minor chord. You start from the A note. You're basically playing the A Phrygian mode, because D minor is the relative minor of F major. Now, F major is the first note. And second note would be G, and the third note would be A. So if you basically play in the F major scale, start from the third note on the A note, you're still playing the F major scale, but you're just starting from the A note. So it's an A Phrygian mode of the F major chord, but you basically playing the F major scale in that context, or D minor, however you want to say it. But basically it's the same scale. Okay, the D minor is basically D minor is relative minor of F major. So you're just playing the F major chord stuff from the sixth note, the D note. But if you start from the A note, you're still playing the F major scale, but you're starting from the third note of the F major scale, and they'll give you a Phrygian mode. And that's in the context of F major as well. Okay, so that's the basic of it. Now the first part is, the theory is pretty easy. It's all A notes. You play the second fret on the G string, and you tap on the 14th fret on the G string, and you bend it forward. You basically play from A to B, you back to A, and then you play the 21st fret on the G string. Now that's basically the fifth note of A major scale. So if you play like a power chord, you see, it's just an A power chord, because the A power chord has the root note and the fifth note of the scale. So in this case, we're just playing the A note, and the fifth note of A is the E note. So and then after that, you play the open G, and you pull off on open G, and you hammer on the 6, 7, 9 on the G on the G string. Now, yeah, so you're basically playing the B minor scale. All right, because you have a G, and then you have the C sharp, D, and E. Okay. And after you do that, and the 14th fret on the G when you tap it, that's still with the B minor note. The B minor scale is like this. It's 7, 9, 10. 7, 9, 10 on the A. 7, 9 on the D. 6, 7, 9 on the G. 7, 8, 10 on the B, and the 7, 9, 10 on the E. So the 14th fret of G is the 10th fret on the B string. So now when you play a 12th fret, now when you bend up 9th fret already, basically you bend up half step. Now that's a different note right there. That's not in D major anymore. You basically is the D minor now. Okay, so you're gonna switch between the minor third and major third of D. When you bend from 9th fret to 10th fret. When you play the 13th fret on the G, when you tab it, now when you tab the 13th fret on the G string, when it bend half step up, you're playing the 10th fret on the B string note. It's the same note. Okay, so after that, when we play the 19th fret, release back down. Basically playing the 10th fret on the high E string, bend up full step, release down. See, that's still in the B minor scale. So all that stuff right there is just within B minor scale. But why are you saying, why are we playing B minor instead of D? Well, B minor is a relative minor of D major chord, or D major scale. So when I play B minor, I'm basically playing D major starting from the B note. So that's why. And again, you have to also throw in that D minor note in there, which is the minor third of D, which is F note. The F note is a minor third of D. So basically you're playing the D, and then what I'm saying is that you're going back and forth between D minor and D major chord. So basically in the context of B minor relative scale. So I hope that makes sense to you. And the rest is kind of the same. So within the context of D major and D minor. So hopefully that helps a little bit for you to understand the theory behind it. Oh, one more thing is that once we get to this pattern right here, now notice that it's basically playing a D chord, at this position. You play a D chord octave higher. So basically, you're playing around that shape. You know? That is so D right there. And then last note he plays the 21st fret. The 21st fret basically is a major third of A. That's a C sharp note. He bends up half step twice and release back down. So basically, he go from the major third of A, bend up to perfect fourth A, from C sharp to D, back to C sharp. And because you're playing over the A chord, the A major, with the major third of A, it works together. So you got an A chord, you play the notes within the A major chords, the scale, it will work fine. So ending on C sharp will give it a resolution to the solo. So that's why. Thanks for watching. That's the entire thing, and I hope you enjoyed it. And please leave me a comment if you like it. Thank you.